The Empire's vast war machines blotted out the sun as they descended upon Earth. No planet had ever resisted their might, no species had ever dared to stand against their cold, calculating force. The Empire was perfection in its ruthlessness, a civilization that measured its conquests not by years but by planets swallowed whole. When they arrived, they gave humanity a choice: submit or perish. Humanity's leaders, desperate and defiant, rejected their demands, knowing full well what the cost would be. Earth, however, had not yet felt the full power of the alien menace. The first strike came without warning, a cataclysmic barrage of energy weapons that ripped across the planet's surface. Cities crumbled in an instant. The ground itself trembled as a massive, blackened ship hovered above every major city, unleashing destruction from above. The skies turned to ash, and the oceans boiled as the empires might rain down on the world. Yet the humans fought. They fought with the desperation of a species, knowing they had no tomorrow. In the final hours, military bunkers were overrun. Resistance fighters launched desperate counterattacks, and a ragtag fleet of ships made a last-ditch escape into the stars, hoping against all odds to survive. But the Empire's Supreme Council believed humanity's final cry had been silenced. They considered Earth eradicated, humanity nothing more than a tragic, forgotten footnote in their chronicles. The Supreme Council Room was a cathedral of arrogance, a place where victory was a given, where nothing was beyond the reach of the Empire. The walls pulsed with cold energy, emitting a low hum that resonated with the power they wielded across the galaxy. The Empire's leaders, a grotesque mix of alien species, sat in their thrones, discussing their next great conquest. Next, we turn our sights to the Orion Nebula. A council member, a floating entity with tendrils like liquid metal, announced, "Its people will not resist. They will submit. They always do." The room buzzed with approval. They were unbeatable, unstoppable. Just as the members began to murmur in celebration, the communications system flickered. At first, it was faint, a distortion in the air, a crackling hum. One of the advisors, a cold, reptilian being, adjusted his antennae and waved it off as a malfunction. "It's nothing," he said, almost bored. But then it came again, louder this time. The distortion sharpened, cutting through the usual background noise, and a faint, familiar noise crept into their consciousness. It was human. "We are still here." The voice echoed like a ghost from the past, a whisper in the void. The alien council froze. No one spoke. The voice, a human voice, slithered through the static, unmistakable, chilling. "You thought you destroyed us, but we were not finished." Panic spread through the room like wildfire. The air seemed to grow colder, as if the very fabric of the chamber was shaking with uncertainty. This was not a glitch. The voice was real, and it was coming from somewhere alive. How is this possible? A tentacled figure, shaking, asked. "We eradicated them. We saw the ashes." The voice continued, taunting, mocking, growing louder. "We have not forgotten. We have waited, and now we return." The alien leaders gripped their thrones, their hands trembling. Fear, a sensation they were not accustomed to, took hold of them. Something ancient, something primal, stirred deep within them. They had underestimated the humans, and now the very thing they feared most was staring back at them from the darkness. Beneath the cold, empty stretches of space, the human fleet survivors of Earth's devastation lurked in the shadows. It was a secret the Empire had not seen coming. A few dozen ships, broken, battered, but alive, were the last remnants of humanity. They had escaped Earth's fiery end by mere minutes, using old military technology hastily repaired after the initial devastation. Their fleet was a motley mix of old Earth vessels, relics of a past civilization that had barely understood what they were up against. But over the years, those survivors had turned their desperation into innovation. They had stolen Empire technology, reverse-engineered weapons, and hacked into the vast communication networks of the Empire itself. They had become something more than human. The Resistance commander, a battle-worn veteran named Captain Alara Reed, stood in front of a holographic map, her face grim. A single tear fell from her eye as she watched Earth's broken image flicker in front of her. Humanity had been dealt a blow that could never be undone, but they would never forget. "We may have lost our planet, but we are not lost," Alara said, her voice cold with determination. "The Empire thinks we are gone, but we've only just begun." The voice that haunted the Empire's councils was Alara's plan, a symbol of humanity's last, defiant stand. It was psychological warfare, an eerie message that would rattle the alien invaders, a whisper that made them question their certainty. The voice wasn't just a message, it was an omen, and the survivors were ready to make it the harbinger of the Empire's downfall. In the archives of the Empire, the truth came to light. Humanity's rapid technological advancements had drawn the Empire's suspicion long before their planet was destroyed. They had seen Earth as a growing threat, one that could one day challenge the supremacy of the Empire. The decision to destroy Earth was not driven by hatred, it was driven by fear. The Empire had watched humanity's rise with a mix of disdain and terror. The humans, a primitive species, were advancing at an alarming rate. Their adaptability, their creativity, their sheer will to survive, they were unlike any species the Empire had encountered before. "Why did we not see this?" one of the council leaders hissed, his voice dripping with regret. Their innovation, it's unmatched. They would have become more dangerous than the rest of the galaxy combined. The room erupted into chaos. They had made a grave mistake. They had assumed humanity was weak, easily crushed. But they had underestimated the human spirit. "Are we sure they are even truly finished?" one of the leaders whispered, his voice trembling. "If they've survived, if they're still out there, what does that mean for us?" The Empire's confidence wavered, but it was too late. The die had been cast. And so it began. The first strikes against the Empire's weak points were swift and brutal. Humans attacked with the precision of a surgeon and the fury of a vengeful storm. A dozen ships, each once a relic, pushed through the Empire's defenses, using cloaking devices and advanced technology that had been scavenged from the wreckage of their own destruction. Each battle was a shadow war. The Resistance knew how to strike where it hurt the most: strategic targets, vital resources, and the heart of the Empire's communication networks. The human ships weren't just fighting with weapons, they were waging psychological warfare. The voice, the haunting voice that had first been heard in the Empire's council, was now a part of every battle. It infiltrated their comms, broadcasting human songs, coded messages, and unsettling phrases that made the Empire question itself. One attack left an entire fleet of the Empire's warships adrift in space, frozen in terror after hearing a single line broadcast through the darkness. "Remember Earth. Remember us." The Empire's forces began to unravel. Fleet commanders, once brimming with arrogance, started to doubt their own orders. Fear spread like wildfire. Entire fleets vanished, swallowed by the void, unsure of whether they had been destroyed or simply fled in terror. Then came the final strike. The fleet, led by Captain Alara Reed, descended upon the Empire's capital, the heart of their empire. A cataclysmic space battle ensued, the skies a chaos of explosions and fire. The human forces were outnumbered, but they fought with an unyielding ferocity. They struck at the Empire's central command ship, the very one that had issued the order to wipe them out. The final blow was personal. Alara, in a suicide run, led her ship into the heart of the Empire's flagship, launching a devastating missile that shattered its core. With the Empire's surrender, the survivors of Earth, those scattered across the stars, found themselves standing on the precipice of a new era. The galaxy, once ruled by the Empire's fear, was now theirs to rebuild. Humanity had become more than survivors. They had become a force to be reckoned with. The human spirit, once thought crushed, had soared back from the ashes, leaving behind a legacy of defiance and victory. But the cost had been high. Earth was gone. The cities, the people, the history, everything lost. Yet, in the quiet moments, amidst the rubble, a new hope emerged. Humanity would rebuild, but they would never again fall prey to complacency. They would be the voice that others would hear. And as Alara stood before the rebuilt fleet, she looked toward the stars. Their work was just beginning. We've survived, and we will thrive. For the Empire had learned a lesson they would never forget. Humanity's voice would never be silenced again. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe the channel for more videos like this.